Welcome back to another episode of Inspirations with Rashonda, which is a little bit of this, a little bit of that, all things inspiration for your mind, body, and soul. So I'm going to make this really quick. And if you read the title, it says, "You think you hurt now? You ain't been hurt until you heard this." So one day I was talking to someone, just general conversation. A lot of times, in ministry, we don't move forward. We don't do the things that we should do because sometimes the enemy has us focused looking at other people and what they're doing. And I really don't trust this person, and I really don't trust that person. And do you really trust this person? Or do you really trust that person? Or, I just been hurt so much in my life, until I just can't bring myself to just submit to people or just do things, and whatever. And I listened to what they had to say. I know where they are or where they are in their life right now because I used to be there. I used to use the church hurt syndrome to keep me from moving forward into the things that God wanted me to do because I always was looking at someone else, what someone else was doing, what someone else should have been doing, what someone else wasn't doing. My mind was always on everybody else but what God had called me to do. And I allowed that hurt to kind of sit with me. I sat with that hurt for a while. So as they were talking, I began to tell them, I said, you know what? Who cares? Who cares? Who cares if who's talking to who? And, if you share this information with this person and you really don't trust them, they may talk to somebody. Who cares? That ain't got nothing to do with you. Guess what? That has a lot of things to do between them and they God and what they sharing. That ain't got nothing to do with you. And that's where I had to get in my own walk with Christ. And as I told someone before, we have to do ministry with blinders on. We're going to see a lot of things, but you're going to have to see it and not see it. You're going to hear a lot of things, but you're going to have to hear it and not hear it. You know what I mean? You're going to be thinking a lot of things, but you got to think it. And as soon as it gets in your mind, you got to let it go. Okay, I have been in ministry where I allowed someone to tell me and to come to me and to talk to me about the very people in ministry that was supposed to help. Now, what this person, they problem they had with these people, it had nothing to do with me. But when they told me about it, I allowed it to, deter my relationship with those people. And then when I went into church on Sunday, I would look at them all crazy, wasn't really getting into the service because I'm thinking about what this person has told me about these individuals. Let me tell you something. You got to let that stuff go, okay? The way I see it and the way God has told me one time, everybody is going to have their opportunity to stand before God. Everybody has to give an account to God for the things that they have done, have said, have thought, and all this stuff. It ain't got nothing to do with them, but it has a lot to do with you. When God calls us up to come up before him on Judgment Day, okay, it's going to be about what you did. It's not going to be about Sister Sally and how she looked at you on Sunday morning and how she was gossiping and she talking about everybody in the church. Sister Sally going to have her time with God. But right now, this is about you. This is about what God has asked you to do. And so I had to get that in my mind. And I'm in ministry, so I have to put blinders on to a lot of things. And if I have issues with something, you know what I do? I take it to God and I talk to God about it. And sometimes I'm crying, but I'd rather cry to him than to cry to somebody else because God is not the author of confusion. So what am I saying? We've been hurt many times in our lives. People have said some crazy things and done some nasty things to us and vice versa, because it ain't always, people. We've done some things too, right? The enemy uses those things to keep us in isolation and in a box. He knows that if you stay there in that tornado, you will never come out and move forward into the destiny that God has planned for you. We got to let things go. The past, the things people have set our face like a flint. Okay, those blinders, okay, those ministry blinders, because that's what you're going to need. We need to ask God to change us into the people He desires and who He has created us to be from the beginning of the time. I can't help what somebody else is doing, but God, change me, change my heart, change my mind, and how I'm looking at people, and how I see people, and what I'm thinking, and all this stuff. Change my mind. When I go into ministry now, I go with a clear heart and clear conscience. But it's one thing that I wasn't going to allow this person to do, and that's to sit up and be talking to me about people in ministry. And like I told them, you got to let that go. You got to let the past go. Because they were talking about how, well, I should have been further along now, and I'm not where I'm supposed to be. You're not where you're supposed to be because you're allowing the enemy to fill your head and your heart with mess, with stuff, with things that ain't got nothing to do with your purpose. You let God deal with them. But what is God calling you to do? And you think you've been hurt now? You think the things that people have done to you and said to you has hurt you? And then you feeling some type of way? But let me tell you something. You're not going to be, the hurt that you have felt on this side is going to be nothing compared to the hurt you feel on the other side when God says, depart from me, you workers of iniquity. I know you not. That, my friend, is going to be not only the worst day you've ever experienced in your entire life, but that is going to be also the worst hurt. You think you was church hurt. Church hurt ain't got nothing on those words when you hear God say that. So, as my old pastor used to say, God rest his soul. So it behooves you to put all that stuff aside. Tell God to give you some blinders, and you go forward into the things that God has called you to. Because at the end of the day, it's about what you did, not what they did. It's about what you said, not what they said. It's about what's in your heart, not what's in their heart. They're going to have their time. But guess what? So are you. So I hope you got something out of that today. Listen, if you like messages like this, these are the little tough messages sometimes that we really don't want to hear, but we need, okay? Look, keep moving forward in God. Keep doing what God is calling you to do. All right? Don't let nothing and nobody keep you from getting to your purpose. As I told this person, honey, I am not taking collard greens, chicken and pastry, chicken and dumplings, sweet potato pie. I am not taking nothing to the grave to give the grave, to let the grave have a feast, okay? Because I set up and didn't do the things that God has called me to do. No, as Miles Monroe said, we're going to go to the grave empty, okay? I'm not going to the grave feeding it anything. I'm going empty. Because I have to set my face like a flint, and I have to move forward into the things that God wants for me. You haven't felt hurt. You haven't even felt hurt or know what it's like to be hurt until you hear those final words. And that is going to be it. Don't let that be you. Don't let nobody trick you and to get you all caught up into this world and what's going on with people. Honey, you got work to do. And I suggest you get to work. So that's all the time I have for today. Listen, if you like episodes like this or, on whatever, hey, subscribe, leave me a comment, and be blessed. Okay, be good. Move forward. Stomp on the enemy's head. Okay? And let's live this life the way he wants us to live it. Okay? So, until next time, be blessed.